Good afternoon and welcome to our channel. Today, I thought it'd be quite appropriate to help celebrate our veterans with a little bit of comedy. So, we have a strike group, I believe our Navy, a large group or contingent has entered the Caribbean and surrounded Venezuela. And it's very clear that President Trump, over the past many months, doesn't like Venezuela. In response, Russia sent rusty submarines with weed eater motors in them down there. You've got pontoon boats from Venezuela floating in the water like little turds, And so I'm pleading, Mr. Maduro, while you're still alive tonight, before the stroke of midnight. Now, if you remember, Mr. Maduro, back in the Saudi days, you remember all those guys running through the desert for dear life? You can round these people up, okay? But the minute the bomb pops, I'm telling you, these 4-foot people are going to start running across the border. You're going to lose your whole military. They're going to be in the water like little fishes swimming to the next island. They are not going to defend your ass. In fact, I plead with the Venezuelan people there, go ahead and get your shotgun and go shoot the bastard, because it'd be a much quicker death than probably what he's going to face. So, Mr. Maduro, you're probably going to get assassinated tonight. That's just the way it goes. Bad politics, And so President Trump wanted to send a very clear message. We are only there to attack a few fishing boats. That's why we sent a complete strike group. We are just simply there to keep the peace and stop the drugs, okay? We've surrounded the island to stop. We're only going to pop a few bottle rockets out there. Don't worry, okay? We're not going to come up in your country. There's not going to be any popping of the bombs. We've now spent billions of dollars probably shipping a large portion of the U.S. Navy out there to surround your island, and we're not going to do it. There's not going to be any war. Of course not. So I'd like for you to pack your shit, man, because I'm concerned for your safety at this point. If you're in Venezuela and you can hear me on my ham radio, please gather your children, exit the country, okay? Because there's going to be a fireworks display tonight, possibly all week. And look, don't worry about those warships. What you should worry about is those big planes in the sky at about 4,000, 5,000, or 10,000 feet. You're not even going to see. You're going to get a light flash before you expire, okay? You're not even going to see this stuff. It's going to come out the sky seemingly from nowhere. And so getting in your pontoon boats, sewing together banana leaves and calling up your Navy there isn't going to help you. Within 4 to 8 hours, everything that you recognize as a military will be melted and turned to ash. There'll be nothing left. And so I don't want anybody to run a 4K marathon across the Venezuelan border. You've got little old ladies out there. There's no interest in clearly hurting the Venezuelans, the population, but you're getting together this military and you're giving them bottle rockets and pop guns like we used to have in the 50s when you give them to children. Look, these little toy guns aren't going to help you. Okay. If you own a boat, please take a river out your country, because if you even snap a beach towel on the fucking beach, you will get a flashbang and that'll be the end. Okay. Do not pull out your fishing reels in Venezuela tonight. Okay. Do not get near the coast. Okay. We're out there to monitor the water levels and pollution. Okay. And so just say no. Barbara Bush, I was on a call with her tonight. Barbara Bush reminded us, she said that please say no to drugs. We warned you fucking people over there, didn't we? We warned you. You said you were going to put all the criminals in jail. You didn't. You forgot yourself. And so Barbara Bush says, say no to drugs. But now it's boom, boom, boom. So we're going to have a little, and I hear China's chipping in too. They've got a few rusty boats they want to send down there. But look, for your sake, man, look, go ahead, get out your bus passes. You better get on whatever bus has all tires inflated, and go ahead and ride through the banana village and get on down to wherever the hell you can get. Let this be a strong lesson for the drug trade. Now, another thing I'd like to discuss right now is the U.S. drug trade. To my fellow friends and constituents, all my meth dealers and crack dealers. Now, if you are actively with a crack pipe in your mouth or you're smoking a big old ball of meth, I want you to take this message home with you tonight. When we finish, probably with Venezuela, we're going to probably, all this is going to go to Mexico, right? You don't honestly think that President Trump's going to leave one fucking gorilla in the jungle, okay? The cocaine party's over. So your $5 rock will now be $485, okay? You take a hit, you're going to have to steal the whole car to get a hit now, okay? Barbara Bush told you, say no drugs. And my friend, my closest and most dearest friend, Sally the hooker with one flip-flop, honey, you're going to have to spin about 180 times around the light now to be able to get a hit, girl. So look, for those of you in Venezuela, if you're here in the U.S., when you go back, you're not going to see any military left. There's going to be a garage sale in Venezuela. I'm serious, man. We're going to probably sink all the ships, and your military is going to be on vacation in other countries. They're not going to want to stay. Okay, if the Venezuela military they're going to show pride for about a half hour until that black plane flies at about 30,000 feet up there, and when that big old bomb comes down and takes down 19 square blocks, then you're going to watch that military. You're going to watch it vanish. It's going to be like sawdust blowing in the wind. These people be running to Nicaragua, Mexico. Some of them going to jump in the ocean on fire. Okay? Lay your guns down. You got 2 hours. You can lay your guns down, but you still better run. You got till midnight, baby doll. You got to get down there. Take a bus, take a cab, go buy you some fresh flip-flops. Get at least 3 pairs. It's a long walk through the jungle, baby. Because as I said, President Trump promised we're just there. We only send strike groups when we're just there to mediate little fishing ships. Okay? We're not there for war. Of course not. We've also sent our biggest aircraft carrier. We're just testing the fuel systems there. We decided we'd like to park that next to your fucking island, what's left of it. So I don't know what to tell you, man. For those of you in the U.S. that need a hit, need to smoke a little heroin, shoot up today, you better enjoy it, because when you wake up in the morning, drugs are going to be a lot more expensive. You're going to feel like you're a good U.S. American citizen on a health care plan in the U.S. You're going to get robbed like the rest of us, except the difference is the drug won't be illicit. So just like that $1,200 weight loss drug, your crack's going to cost $1,200, and you're going to experience the same misery as most Americans. So whether you want to be responsible, you want to be a drug addict, we're going to catch up that drug market. We're going to make sure crack costs just as much as fucking blood pressure pills. Okay, we're all going to suffer equally together. And so anybody wants to go on down to Venezuela, we're doing party boats. We're going to be having we're doing fireworks out there. And we're going to be watching the Venezuelans. They're going to be like little ducklets that have been turned on fire, running around the beach, you know. You'll see them running around with their hair on fire and don't understand what happened. We told you, man, look, if you do business with drug cartels, okay, and you don't steal the boat. Look, you don't fuck with the wrong one. Now, we already know how President Trump feels about stealing the boat. You stole that boat, you're fucked now, okay? Trump don't stop. Matter of fact, just the mere fact that you stole the boat and you won't admit it, he asked you to admit it. You didn't want to do that. Well, now your ass is grass. So the message is very clear. Nicaragua, you might as well go ahead and roll up all your power lines, pack all your shit, get your fucking mules ready, pack up the children. You better move, because we're going to be doing fuel tests next in your country. And since you're complicit in the activity of drugs and cocaine, well, there's only one thing we're going to be doing down there. We'll be having another nationwide garage sale. The only thing that's going to be left of the innocent, you know, if we have to burn every jungle down from here to the tip of South America to stop this drug trade, then that's what's going to happen. You know, our country is being choked to death by that. And so I'm glad President Trump doesn't want Mr. Maduro to steal the boat. He stole the boat. Now you got to pay the price. We offered you an opportunity before you can either, you can get a pardon from Mr. President Trump, but you rejected the pardon. So now there are CIA. Everybody's looking for you. Look, you don't walk around your Mr. Maduro, please. I'm on the ham radio. Please don't walk in front. Don't give guns to your military because one of them's going to take a pot shot at your ass tonight. Okay, because nobody wants what's coming for you. Okay, they're going to melt every building connected to the military. Your whole power grid's going to be gone, and you're going to feel like you're in the 16th century in the Dark Ages. They're going to shut all that shit down, and you look. Those banana leaf boats you got out there, that shit ain't gonna do nothing. There will be planes flying at, again, 20, 30,000 feet, and it's like dropping an EMP. First thing goes down is your infrastructure. Next thing you know, you've got a real crisis. So I encourage the Venezuelans in your country, please pull out your pistols and guns and go shoot your president. Okay, that'll end the war early. If you don't do this, then we're going to continue to check our fuel systems on all our Navy boats around your country. Okay. Anybody, if you even so much as get on a pleasure cruise, you snap a reel into the ocean to catch a minnow, that's it. You'll be vaporized. Okay. We have a new edict. There'll be no fishing. You pop a beach towel out there, that's it. We're not going to arrest you. You get vaporized. Okay. So, Venezuela, you've been put on notice. You're no longer under U.S. law to own a boat, to travel on water, to snap a beach towel, to get on the beach. You no longer own the beach either. Okay. So, I advise everybody, all I should see the white of your eyes hiding in the jungle off the beach there, man. The other option is, Mr. Maduro, you go ahead, you go out to the public square, you can shoot yourself. That's option A. Option B, you can turn yourself to CIA, but they'll probably shoot you before they can handcuff you. Option 3 is stroke of midnight. Your military will probably assassinate you because they don't want this shit. Your country don't want you, okay? You better leave. So that's the most quaint way I can think for our United States veterans, those current and have. We're going to celebrate Veterans Day with the popping of champagne over Venezuela. Now, I think that whatever happens, I hope that there's not a new dictatorship for the Venezuelan people. Okay. There's a reason why, Mr. Maduro, your people are flooding into our country. There's a reason why we're hosting over 500,000 in our country. Okay. There's a reason why, because nobody can live in the situation you created there. Okay. You don't want to own that. President Trump tried to give you a pardon. Now you're going to get execution. Okay, it's a matter of hours. Okay, so don't think that this is optional. There's no option button. When the strike group comes and surrounds your fucking island, there's only a couple options out there, and it's going to be, it's going to be a big party, and people are going to run screaming to the next border. Half the country is going to leave you. Okay, don't involve your military. Don't do that. Okay, those people, your military didn't do anything. Okay, you're involving innocent people in your war. I implore you, get out your shaving razor and just go ahead and end it, brother. And so, Mr. Maduro, your staff, if you're unfortunate enough to be Mr. Maduro's secretary, I'm on the ham radio. You better go ahead and get some Jim Jones Kool-Aid, because my feeling on that is anybody connected to Mr. Maduro and Venezuela, I don't care if you're changing his tires, you're complicit, okay? You served a monster, and now you're going to get Jim Jones Kool-Aid. But unfortunately, it's probably going to end badly anyways. So in real talk, beyond the comedy of that, which is not that funny, this will be a testing and proving ground for what will be counteraction, probably for all the drug cartels. I think that President Trump is actually the one. He could be the first one, real pair of balls that will actually tell Mexico to fuck off and go in that jungle and start executing every fucking one of them. Arrest them, execute them, whatever it takes. Clearly, nobody wants to harm people in Mexico or Colombia, their population or their people. But these cartels, it's game and match. If President Trump is successful in his efforts on your island, And it's not even so much an island, really, because it's connected to many other countries. I can tell you, everybody in the area, your ticket's going to get popped. Okay, he's got 3 more years, and he can do a whole lot in that time. So those are river boats or casinos out there with moms on them. They're probably not going to leave that area. And Mexico, take a note because you're next. I'm telling you, if I'm 50% right, if you think President Trump won't stomp right through the center of Mexico, okay, and walk in those jungles, not even have to send military. I mean, we got drones now. We can send drones in. We don't have to kill any servicemen anymore. We can just send 500,000 drones and absolutely devastate everything. Won't be a fucking leaf on a tree left. I mean, you will choke on that cocaine you make it in the jungle. So you're gone. And so the price of crack and dope out here in the U.S., it'll dry up. I mean, you're going to have crackheads robbing each other. I mean, even the price of a glass pipes can go up to about $95. You can't even afford the crack. You can't afford the pipe it goes in. Okay, that's what needs to happen here. The U.S. needs to get off the drugs. Okay, so all we're doing really in the U.S. is our insane healthcare market. We're just bringing the other drug market up to the same deal. So you can't just sit on the sidewalk and turn tricks all day and think you're going to get discount drunks, bitch. We're going to bring it up with the rest of us. Just like grandma's sitting there, she's 95 on her couch. She can't afford her diabetes medication. Well, you out there sitting on the corner, smoking crack, stealing everybody's shit. Well, guess what? Your shit's going to cost the same. It's time for you to grow the fuck up. Okay? So when you take a hit, it's going to be a $1,200 hit. I hope we shut it all off. So that's all we're doing is we're comparing the market. Fuck it. We're going to make it even. We all can suffer. We should suffer equally. And you won't get any tax credits. You'll get prison credits. For every 100 years you serve, we'll give you 1 day off. I'm sick of all this shit. Our cities are consumed with junkies. This is not just our country, but everywhere. And so it's easy. South America pushes nearly 90% of all this shit in here. So it's time to have a fucking invasion party. Okay? No more hiding in the jungle. Okay, that was the 60s. We have something for you now. And we don't need to even kill our service people over it. We'll just send millions and millions and millions of drones and we'll inundate the forest. You know, put in blocks to ensure we don't kill any birds, any monkeys, and wildlife, and just target assholes. I'd like to just see choo-choo trains of drug dealers come out. And all these big old houses, if there's an on-land invasion, you fucking forget about your mansion and your money. Because I can guarantee the first place the U.S. will go is secure all those banks. And then you're done. I've had enough of this shit. It plays such, part of this video is because I work as a Section 8 consultant. That's what my channel's about. But, last month or so, we dealt with a government shutdown. And I also watched the effect of what drugs have on a lot of my clients. Okay. I watch good people go down. And so do I agree with President Trump or disagree with us invading, damn near flash bombing, or even ending a country or its leader over drugs? Absolutely. This shit should have done a long time ago. In fact, I hope if we're spending money we ain't got, I'd prefer to spend this money, even if it costs us. I can't think of a better way to burn money right now than to go into all the way through South America and just get rid of all of them. I don't mean the people, the culture, any of that. I mean the drug dealers, the drug camps, and all this shit, because it's what ruins the core of the American soul. All these little fuckers sucking the soul out of our country. Okay? You know how many veterans have been affected by this? They got sucked into drugs and ended up destroying their life. So yeah, President Trump, whether you agree or disagree, one thing I agree about is, yeah, we should send the entire military and clean out South America, period. President Trump, I implore you to send people to every post office, secure every package, run drug dogs on every package that comes in this country, to every port of entry, to every border. until we get the drugs stopped in this country or put a choke on it where it's not worth it no more. So that's, in my field of work, it runs paramount to so much that I see. So, Mr. Maduro, I'm on my ham radio here tonight, and I advise you give the funeral home a call. Tell them you need a banana box ready by midnight. If you are a Venezuelan military official or in the military, tear that fucking flag off your arm, throw your shit down. Otherwise, you'll end up dead. Do not vacation. We have banned boats. There'll be no fishing, no suntanning on the beach. If you got a death wish, you better not tap your toes on the sand of Venezuela. Okay? If you're in a risky area, then you better get out of there, okay? Because we are not parking one of the largest strike groups in and around Venezuela because we're testing the engine of our Navy, okay? The test is over. If you're still foolish enough to be there, then you're going to get a surprise for Veterans Day. You will experience the full might and severity of the U.S. military, okay? And technology's come a long way, a very long way. People can die from some of the things that the U.S. uses in military from half a mile in the sky. You never even saw it coming. It was a flash and you were dead, okay? Which makes the war a lot more precise. And drones they don't love or hate. They just evaporate people, okay? I don't want anybody to die that's in Venezuela. That's why I'm asking the Venezuelan people, go ahead and execute your leader, okay? That deal's been done. That deal's been struck with the devil already. If you don't, you better run across the border. You got about 30 days. I'm telling you, we'll put you out of business. And and what's really insulting is you think you're actually going to test your ass out there with an aluminum boat, okay? A little wooden pontoon boat, and you're going to throw bottle rockets at the warships? We will fuck you up. We will burn you down. We will set you back several centuries, okay? And within a week's time, you won't even have anything recognizable as the military. Okay, you'll have a bunch of people out there that look like they're being served by Red Cross with water bottles and bread. Okay, so the best thing the military for the Venezuelan people can do, don't do it. You ever mess with a big guy? He tells you don't do it. He's warning you before you get knocked the fuck out. Don't do it. You shoot one bullet. I'm telling you, you're gonna get tore up. That's all our Navy needs. Do not take a pot shot. When you're out there with your little guns and your little pea guns and you snap a bullet, you're going to regret that. That'll be the end of your day. So I'm on that ham radio. Look, just say no to drugs. Barbara Bush tried to teach our children out there not to fuck with that, okay? So we can't get the junkie to stop being a junkie, so we'll just drop the drug dealer. That works too. And I'm quite proud that our country has now decided that we're going to take the normal drug market for pharmaceuticals we need for the elderly, and we're going to bring the lazy drug and junkies. We're going to bring their pricing right up with ours. I think that's quite effective. We need to bring up the price of crack. So $5 crack will now be $400 a hit. When you hit the lighter, poof, it's gone. So I don't know what to tell you. You better my advice, you better get on the stripper pole. Start working. You're going to spin around that thing about 400 times a night. That's what you're going to get. All right. So I'm glad. I'm glad we can connect tonight on Veterans Night because nothing makes me prouder than of our country and sometimes the decisions we make that we confront things head on. And I'm glad that President Trump made that decision. I hope it continues to make that throughout South America for those that are complicit in the trade and wealth and warfare that's on the American people to supply endless amounts of cocaine, heroin, and some of the more powerful drugs that has indentured our country into almost our own drug slavery. There's a consequence to all this. Being the largest consumer of drugs on the planet, we've got to stop this. If you can't stop it, then we got to stop the people that are creating this shit. So let me run back in comments. Let's see who agrees, who disagrees. Mainly, I just wanted to lighten the mood. Of course, it's more like a bombshell if you're a Venezuelan in your room having a drink with me. You probably shit in your drawers, but that's how it goes. Peace out. Good afternoon. Pray for all y'all, of course. Idiot Trump out of the office. We don't need to hear you bullshit now, partner. So I'm gonna put your ass out. I'm like hearing it. Sheila Davidson, hello and good afternoon. Nad, good evening. Lucy Bell, good afternoon. A couple of kitty cats in the live chat. I'm in live chat if you guys want to shoot the breeze with me. This video isn't about anything specific. I did choose part of a military topic in consideration to it being Veterans Day, so I hope you don't mind. If you do, I don't really give a shit, but that's how it goes. JD Diesel, I believe the USA should surround the CIA. I don't get mad, man. Look, once we burn your house down, we'll burn down your mama's. And so you're gone. See? This is exactly, see what I'm doing? A mouse, I'm clicking you, and then I'm silencing you. That's the same thing that the President Trump's going to do. He's going to fucking silence your ass. You sit by that keyboard, talk shit, bitch, but you know what? At the end of the day, you ain't nothing. Lord, what's going on, y'all? Well, it's the U.S. surrounding Venezuela. We're having a Christmas party with bottle rockets. Halliburton's alive and well, of course. Let's make LSD great again, of course. I tried a little bit of that when I was younger. That was a wild trip. Thank God for psychedelics, of course. Wendy, crackheads will have to start buying clubs. I'm pretty sure that'd be the case anyways. Russell Dixon, overdoses are down 30%. Let's get that down to 90%. Ned, Nigeria's bringing in drugs. Well, they might be having a bad day, but look, Africa is a very large continent. We've had to spend hundreds of years trying to deal with that. And while Africa might be bringing it in, they're not the primary suppliers. It's usually, from what I can see or what I've determined, and I'm no expert, a lot of what gets through our country is from South America, leading up to it as well. Wendy, where would we be running to? China? I don't know, man. You could run to the Antarctic if you want. You can go shoot up with the polar bears. Trump is 1,000% wrong. And well, look, if you guys say it's wrong or you don't believe it, tell me why at least. Trump is 1,000% wrong. I say this is Trump's supporter. It's all about the Venezuelan oil. Okay, well, I will apologize at Mr. Maduro, President Maduro's funeral. We were there not to check the oil. We were there to figure out whether or not you had any oil. It takes a while to drill for oil, so we might be in Venezuela for a while. Oding Gamble Beauty. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but it's your username. What about the drug production and sale in Haiti? Well, it turns out there's more drug addicts in the world than I thought when I started this video, but that's okay. Look, Haiti, if you like to be on the giving list, okay, if you like to sign up for a bomber plaque, we can give you one. I'm sure we're not going to leave Haiti behind. Does Haiti even have a military? Does anybody know? What I mean by that is more than just a pontoon boat and a rusty gun. Does anybody know if Haiti has a military? Let me know. Oding, why is striking weed legal here? It's all bullshit. Hey, I never said President Trump nor I have ever said that I can know that have any problem with weed. That's just U.S. policy. Happy Veterans Day to all my fellow veterans and Army vet. Thanks for your service. Hoorah. That sounded good. Ned says the world has so much evil. We wouldn't be the world or the U.S. if there wasn't a taste of evil in everything, okay? Nobody here is doing prayer circles, okay? Clearly, there's a message when you name your military the War Department. It's not the prayer circle. It's the War Department, okay? It's here to handle issues. So, yeah, things happen. And just because bad shit happens to the other opposite party don't mean that it's evil. Oh God, Mister, I think they're all above the law. Well, in the U.S., we not only consider the law, we make the law, we approve the law. Sometimes we delay it for a month, and then we go and do what we do. So the U.S. answers to itself. Okay, that's just a one-way agenda. If your politics doesn't work for the U.S., you get terminated. That's it. We unplug you. Whether that's for bad or worse. Look, a lot of these decisions around military and executing people and taking over, there's a good bad side behind all of it. There's positives and negatives. For as many reasons we shouldn't go to Venezuela, there are just as many reasons we should. And so, and all these decisions are made by our politicians. We elected them. We just woke them up after about a month and a half. So if you have a problem with the warships surrounding Venezuela and probably going to burn it to the ground, then I would say meet with the people that you elected, because that's what they wanted to do. You don't get to be a Democrat and a Republican and then go, oh, well, shit, I didn't know the person I elected was going to do this. Okay? Doesn't work that way. You get what you get. Nays, catchers, laughing out loud, Ned, or legalizing LSD. Well, that's be lovely until your 3-year-olds on the bus and your bus drivers on LSD, and then they all die in a ball of flames. So I don't know that we should just go outright and legalize everything in the country. I think that we need to stop the drugs flow or slow it down in the U.S. If you can just slow it down, then it would make it costly. And in terms of it being costly, would make it unaffordable. So I say that a new American campaign would be to create drug unaffordability. We're really good at that anyways, aren't we? It's not like we're doing something different than we normally do in the U.S. We love to make drugs unaffordable. Why not give all the cocaine and heroin to Procter and Gamble? They'll mark the shit up, and then nobody can afford it, right? You'll need drug insurance. You will need crackhead insurance, and then you're going to have to file fucking paperwork for 6 months to get it approved. Meanwhile, you're going to have to rob at minimum. The insurance company, look, you haven't met your quota. We need 12 cars robbed a day. Unless you meet that quota, our insurance company is not going to, you're no longer going to receive crackhead insurance. Okay? So to get you started, we'll give you one pup to get you going. But after that, you got to rob and steal at least 12 cars, 4 houses. So you got to keep up the premium. If we catch you stealing without a minimum one flip-flop on the foot, you're out of here. We're not going to approve. And plus, you're going to need x-rays and exam. We've got to determine whether or not you can take a long pull in the crack pipe or a short one. And so if you're too feeble, you'll need to go down to the crack center hospital. So all we need to do is just put Procter and Gamble in charge of drugs. Let our U.S. Senate put them in control of the pricing. And trust me, all the illegal illicit drugs will be just as unaffordable as everything else. Okay? Welcome to America. It's called inflation. I'd love to see that. You see a crackhead on the corner, she's jiggling and having seizures because she's upset because in fucking inflation. She doesn't understand why a $5 hit of crack is now $200. I mean, she's tricking out, and she's protesting that she's got to spin around the red light for 10 hours straight because, we're dealing with hyperinflation. Then she goes to the gas station. She's got to rob. I mean, she couldn't even afford the crack pipe. The inflation's bad. So remember your local crack hooker. Buy her a pipe for Christmas because it's going to be unaffordable after this. All right. So moving on from there. I'm glad we got that straightened out. I just want our criminal drug users. I just want them to be able to experience the healthcare system in the U.S. And I think that, we cannot offer illicit drugs at such low prices. We need to raise the fucking price. They should be required to go to the same hospital. We need a fucking CT scan, and they need to have crack insurance where they have to go through pages approval. Then you're going to need credit, and then the doctor's going to indenture you. We need to see you every month. So, and then there needs to be a minimum stolen car quota. So, yeah, I think if you're going to be insufferable waste of life, that you should do exactly like every other American does. Go out there and work for your fucking drugs. Walmart didn't literacy tonight. I don't know what the hell that means, but if you're taking a shot across the bow of my ship, you just fucked up. So, Hopra, San Jose has meth as a drug of choice and it's cheap. Well, I think we need to get down there to San Jose and put a warship in the local pond and end that little celebration, okay? I really don't get that, how illicit drugs are cheaper than weight loss drugs in this country. We really do have sometimes our priorities are messed up. I mean, you've got President Maduro right now sitting in a porta potty under a banana tree trying to hide, okay? He's a shit in his panties. He knows he's only got hours left to live, okay? And we over here, we got Christmas crack, $3 a hit. How the fuck is that possible? I'm struggling to pay for the medication I need for blood pressure, but you got Sally and Wanda at the red light, and they get their medication damn near free. How does this happen? So, yeah, I think we need to figure out how to raise the prices. So I employ all you drug dealers that raise your prices through Christmas. I want that shit to be the same price as everybody else going to pay. Okay? Moving on from there. The point of the video is there's no point. We're having a little bit of fun, a little bit of comedy. Of course, I don't wish anybody harm, especially the Venezuelan people. But frankly, I think the issue of drugs and, in jungles and everything else, I think that needs to be addressed. If President Trump sees fit that he believes that stuff is coming from there, then that's his choice. We elected him, and he doesn't need our permission to do a damn thing. Same thing with Congress. We elected him. You don't put a leash on your senator. They do what they want. They've already demonstrated that for 41 nights and days, right? Yesterday, we call it Noah's Ark. We were all Noah's Ark, and our senators are like sharks in water. So if the U.S. government decides they're going to do this, and they have, okay, you don't send the largest aircraft carrier on the fucking planet and surround an island or surround Venezuela just because we're doing a war game, okay? This is not a war game. We're not there to stop fishing boats, okay? So we're all going to wake up one morning, and then what you're going to see is a bunch of banana trees on fire in the news. Okay, the reason I say that is because South America is very tropical, and I'm sure Venezuela is too. But I mean, for the sake of your military, there's no reason to die needlessly. Look, just throw your guns in the toilet, walk out the country, man, because it's not worth losing your life over this shit. Okay, it's not. Go home, get your kids, kiss them, bring them somewhere safe. Okay, because this is strictly politics and war games between countries. Don't get yourself involved in something you can't win, okay? I don't want to see you die. So please, if you're in the Venezuelan military or you're on a banana boat out there with a gun, park that thing, man, before you die, because I can tell you our veterans are going to slaughter. They're going to kill you, man. All right? You cannot, and look, there are no cruise lines leaving Venezuela. Okay? If you do, you end up at the bottom of the ocean. So it's not about agreeing or disagreeing, because this video is not about something all that serious in my mind. I just thought I'd bring it up because it's Veterans Day. And a lot of you guys, those that are here that are becoming upset, there's no reason to get upset. Sometimes we talk open air. It's called growing up. And you don't need to take it personal either, okay? It's just another conversation, another video. I just thought this would be a rather quaint topic considering the day. Okay, it's not to show military might, though that's really what it is, isn't it? And I don't want to see anybody in Venezuela get hurt. So the easiest thing to do, man, Mr. Maduro, while I'm on my soapbox here, my ham radio, go make you some Jim Jones Kool-Aid, man. Look, just take a hit of it and just go to sleep, man. You're not going to live through this. There are people there to kill you now. There's nowhere for you to run. It's over with. You signed your own death warrant, and then you talk shit to So, I mean, of all the countries you can smack your lips to, it was a really bad idea with the U.S. We haven't met our war quota for this decade. Okay. You just got signed up. Why do you think our country's in debt? We love war. This is what we do. We're war makers. And so we've been bored here, scratching our ass in the U.S. for a bit. And guess what? You're on the dinner list tonight. And so those big old birds will be 30, 40,000 feet in the air. You'll be out there, Mr. Maduro, in the porta potty, hiding in the doo-doo, hoping nobody saw you under the jungle tree. And then that'll be the end. You'll be evaporated. It'd be better if you just let your military go ahead and end you. You're not going to live through this. There's no hiding. If you think you're going to ring the doorbell of Nicaragua, I can tell you this fucking people don't want to know. They don't want no part of this shit, okay? Nicaragua ain't going to save your ass. Russia will send you a submarine, a rusty one with a weed eater motor, but they're not going to get fucking involved. Same thing with China. China will send you some upgrades to your tuna boat, but look, China ain't going to stick their fucking ass out either. So you got nowhere to run. No country is going to take you. Nobody's going to want to get involved in this, because if they get involved, then they're next. It's hot potato, baby. Just like when we were kids, you have the hot potato and a couple of chairs. Last one with the hot potato dies. That's the way it goes. Now, if you got some, I just want to tell the Venezuelan people, if y'all got some we have a very strong tradition in the U.S. Once we have a war, we like to pay for our wars. And so we're only going to stay for a little bit. We're just going to tap a few wells of oil. So once we dry the oil out, we'll leave you alone, okay? But you got to be able to pay for your own coffins. We don't do shit for free. We don't do welfare in the U.S. So you've got to pay for your own death. So we'll be installing oil wells every 8 feet out there. We're going to suck up all your oil. Okay, we're going to have big boats out there to suck up all the oil. There'll be nothing but shell and rock left. You got to pay for the war. You said you wanted one, so we're going to, and there's no refunds. So we're going to go suck all the oil out of Venezuela once we've sucked it out and sufficiently pay for a new warship, and we paid all our military and we paid off the U.S. debt. Then somewhere in 2068, we'll move our boat to the next island. That's how it goes. Thank God I don't live in Venezuela tonight. Lord have mercy. You better catch the first flight or donkey out the country, man. I'm telling you. It's going to be a blaze of glory. And you poor bastards out there, y'all standing there with little pistols. Look, y'all going to die in a ball of flames. Look, go home to your children. Remember what Nancy Reagan told y'all back in the 80s? Don't just say no, but you didn't want to do that. Now it's boom, boom, boom. Don't worry, be happy. We should play, I think the Venezuelan players should play that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Play it on the radio, put it on a loudspeaker, keep the population under control. Oh, they need the oil, bottom line. Well, that's good. So we get the oil. It'll pay for the war. What happened to drill, baby, drill? Well, we're drilling for oil. So we gave Mr. Maduro an option. You can either send us yourself in a coffin or we come and get some oil, okay? So we're going to get some oil. Everybody's figured it out. So if you're Venezuelan, we're going to expect everybody to work at the oil rig. If you're military, you got to strip that uniform off. You're now going to be an oil rigger. We're going out there. We're going to run a sweat factory, and we want oil. We're going to build a fucking pipeline all the way through South America, right over. We're going to clear out Mexico. It's going to be like a parking lot. Nothing but a giant pipe to feed the oil. You didn't mind feeding our country drugs? Well, we're going to have to cash in now and get our oil. So Venezuela, I'm so sorry. It looks like you're going to be oilless. You'll have to continue to sell bananas, I guess. I don't know what you're going to sell, but it won't be fucking oil. It'll be, a matter of fact, it'll probably be in my car later this week. But the thing about all this, we're probably not going to be on oil much longer. I think a lot of this is going to be electronic vehicles, right? So I'm here tonight as an agitator and a little bit of comedy. And I'm glad you guys could join me. If you're taking this too seriously, it means that you haven't resolved your mental health issues, you should call a psychiatrist, maybe some inpatient therapy, okay? You're still struggling mentally. You haven't learned how to grow up, okay? So don't take shit personal. We're just having a bit of fun. Why? So we're going to go on from there. Yeah, like Vietnam and China. Well, the Vietnam thing went pretty badly, okay? Turns out them people in the jungle out there weren't fucking around in Vietnam, man. I got to say, out of all the wars we fought, there's the tough people out there. How do I know that? Because my uncle came back. Guess what he brought with him? My aunt. And guess where she's from? Vietnam. They're tough people, man. And they don't give a shit about America. They're not intimidated by it. So I'd say they're a tough country. If I had to pick a country with guerrilla fighters to fight on the side of the U.S., I'd definitely pick Vietnam. Those people are tough out there. Joseph, okay, T says, I'm thrilled someone is stopping these drugs. My daughter thought she was smoking a joint. It was laced with fentanyl. You know, there's a lot of U.S. families that are going to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas with children they no longer have because of fentanyl. And while we have people that are popping in the channels right now that want to be fentanyl huggers, saying that we shouldn't go do anything in Venezuela, we shouldn't stop the drug boat. What you're saying is, I'd like to serve up turkey and fentanyl is what you'd like to say. So there's a counter rebuttal to everything. There's lots of U.S. citizens that have lost their children, their parents, and otherwise to fentanyl. And one day this all boiled down to China. You know, China continues to let these fentanyl groups send the stuff. Then the biggest war that ever happened won't be with that country because they're pretty comparable to the U.S. in military might. Russia, I don't really see as being that comparable. A lot of their stuff is old, but they have nukes. It only takes one nuke, right? And I'm not a military expert, so if I'm wrong, call me on my bullshit. I don't mind. I won't have a tizzy in the video. Again, it was supposed to be light humor to almost insulting this video, but I thought it'd be a little bit fun to discuss the topic of the hour. And we still don't know that President Trump has sent all these boats, including the largest aircraft carrier on the planet, to Venezuela, simply to monitor fishing boats with crack on it. Okay. I think the message is clear. If you don't get it, you're still delusional, then you drank a little too much Jim Jones Kool-Aid. So moving on down. Dad, so true, Joseph. Hidden knowledge. Venezuela is not one of our highest drug trafficker. They are very small compared to Mexico and other countries. Well, let's think about it this way. First of all, let's be clear. I'm not accusing Venezuela of anything, okay? I don't like that they mass incarcerate people without a judicial system. That's what I have a problem with. I'm very worried about that because while they do have a lot of thugs in the streets, I'm concerned, and 1% of their population is in prison. And a great portion of those people are tatted from head to toe and are gang members. So to solicit me in a video and say that you're uncertain there's a problem in a country with drugs, but yet they've got 1% of their population in prison is a double-edged sword. So clearly something's going on. Whether Venezuela is a hub, turning a blind eye, there's a problem, or there's a problem around its geographical area. I believe that probably these problems are probably more severe in Colombia and throughout parts of Mexico and other places where their governments are unable to compete with the flow of cash. So in other words, these drug cartels have the same resources and funding levels as entire governments. And so, but what they don't have, what cartels have a lot of things, but what they don't have is they don't have their own military. They don't have warships. And I have struggled with this, watching this play out since I was a kid in school, even here in Barbara Bush, and just say no. And so why, if you're going to be complicit and allow that shit to go on in your country, including Mexico and other countries where you have these giant cartels that are feeding off our country, then if you can't get cooperation, the only other option is to make a bold move. And President Trump is one of those people who would, if any president's going to do it, it'd be him. If he doesn't, if these warships do something, that will be the clear message that nobody's safe in South America. Because if he does carry through with this strike group, and the largest aircraft carrier sitting right there by Venezuela, I can assure you that President Trump is not going to ask Mexico or any other country for permission. He will not think twice about entering that country and absolutely devastating any drug market you got there. And I say it's about damn time. How do you do that diplomatically without losing the trust of all these countries? Because the vast majority of people in these South American countries, you know, they don't want any trouble, and they never want any drug cartels anyways. You know, we've tried every way possible to work with countries, train them and everything, but you can't train against the vast amount of money that they're earning out of the U.S. So last measure is this: strike groups in military invasions to literally go in and decimate the drug market, to make it so painful that a country would think, okay, if we don't continue to keep the drug market eradicated, come out of our country, then we're at risk of an invasion, not of our population, but of the market itself. We have to do something, and whether you justify it or not, we're losing a lot of Americans. It's driving costs, and we're losing a lot of people. Fentanyl, and so they're moving past fentanyl. They're moving on to drugs that could stop an elephant at this point. And so, when's it enough? I mean, millions are dying. It's destroying American families every day, you know. And while the blame lies squarely on both the U.S. and the suppliers and the countries that are complicit, can't fight it or otherwise. So there's the last resort, you know. Yeah, wars are fought, and the smart war makers. Let me ask you a question, guys. You war buffs, you veterans that are out there. When Rome invaded and tried to consume half the globe out there, do you think they burned down cities and won wars and walked away without taking something? How do you think they paid for those wars? So why is it that we've seen how war has been fought and played for 2,000 years, but some of you popping in the channel suggesting we're just there for the oil? That's the metric of war. The loser loses everything. It loses its infrastructure. You're lucky you don't lose your country. That's how it's always worked out. Okay? So, and let me tell you something. We don't need to invent a war to go take your fucking oil. We'll take it anywhere we want to. Okay? If the U.S. wants oil out of Mexico, any other country, it'll go and just take it. Okay? It don't need a reason. Okay? We don't have to ask anybody for permission. There's only about one, maybe two countries on the planet that even objectively you have a moment's chance to stand up. Okay? And most of the wars we fought recently, last 30 years, we're not even deploying 1% of what we have. I mean, look, we're doing things to try to fight wars without actually killing our soldiers and decimating the ordinary civil population. We have war instruments that can just take out whole cities, evaporate everybody, but not distinguishing anything. Cat, the dog, grandma, everybody. But that's not how we fight wars. We try to mitigate risk. So to come in the channel here and tell me, hey, you're just there for war. Well, yeah, we're going to pay for that war. You didn't mind letting the drug mule ride through your country. We give you warnings. Now you're spending tonight with a saw cutting down a banana tree, and you're going to be making your own coffin, Mr. Maduro. Your whole family, your secretary, the maid. Sorry to say it, lady. You applied for the wrong job. You're gone. It's just the way it goes. And that's if your government or your military doesn't assassinate you in the next few days. Okay? There are enormous awards on your back right now. There are a lot of people, if you're in Venezuela and you need $10 million, we're offering that. All you got to do is the maid, when you clock in, plug in the vacuum cleaner, take the pistol out your panties, pop, that's it. You get $10 million. Though you better be careful because other people might want a piece of that. That's how it goes. And, I've already explained. President Trump said that Mr. Maduro stole the vote. Now, we know how President Trump does not like stealing votes. He gave you a chance, Mr. Maduro, and he told you you've been stealing votes. Now, out of all the presidents in U.S. history, there's one man that despises losing a vote. It's going to be President Trump. So it's a double whammy, okay? Because now you got Paul pissed off. I can tell you, President Trump is twisting and turning on his mattress at night, and he does not like the concept of stealing votes. And therefore, that's your death certificate. And all your friends, family, and constituents likely will be arrested or killed. That's how it goes. CIA's already there. They're already watching everything y'all doing. It's over with. So I mean, don't do like Iran did with Saddam Hussein. We're going to find you. You're going to bury a porta potty in the jungle and hide in a porta potty with a few $100s. You ain't brushed your hair in a month. Don't do that, man. Look, just walk out to the beach and say cheese. We'll blow your head off. That's how it goes. You wanted to be a leader of the country. You stole a vote, and then you pissed off the U.S. president. That's how. And for the Venezuelan people, maybe the Venezuelan people, they'll get somebody they like or somebody they agree with. Who knows? It isn't the first time the U.S. has installed new leaders. You can comply or die. That's how it goes. I don't make those decisions. Our leaders do. Okay, I won't be out there with a gun. I'm not in the military, so that's the way the game works. So moving on down, Argyle Dragon J. You have to see these northern lights. Are they really good? By the way, guys, we're in live chat, so I saw northern lights. My understanding is the sun's radiation hits the earth and it creates those auroral lights. I'm wondering I hear you guys, they're all the way down, starting to see auroral lights through half of the U.S. Now, fortunately, I'm near the Gulf of U.S., not Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of U.S. And because I'm down here in the Gulf of U.S. and Texas, I can't see an auroral light. Well, I can. I can take my propane bottle out of the grill. I can throw it in the air, shoot it with a gun, and watch it explode. I'll have an auroral light, but otherwise, I don't get to see it. So send me a photo if you see the auroral lights. Argyle, they start at 6:30 p.m. and are brilliant now. Excellent. Matthew Godfrey's, it's about China working with Venezuela and their resources. I think that Venezuela and many countries could work to, rather than be complicit in dealing with drugs and stuff like that, you can work with the U.S. A lot of these countries in South America are mineral rich, have lots of resources. I don't understand why you guys don't tap that resource. We watch so many countries go down and deal with high inflation, and they don't dig. They don't have one shovel out to dig for a mineral, and you can sell it to the U.S. Your country could be like Saudi Arabia. I don't understand that. Do you like intentionally just living in poverty? And a lot of people argue this deal with Venezuela, but look, why do we have 1% of the Venezuelan population running to the U.S. to live here? Okay, if you're doing such a good job, why are they here? You don't see Americans in a choo-choo train crossing Mexico into Panama, swimming across to Panama to get into fucking Venezuela, do you? You might see an occasional plane with U.S. prisoners, but, hey, I mean, why do we have close to 500,000 Venezuelans in the country if everything's so sparkling good in Venezuela? Something's got to be going wrong. Maybe you also consider Section 8 for your residents. Maybe hand out food stamps, a little bit of welfare. Sell a bit of that oil you got. Sell it while you got it. Because once our tankers roll up, we're going to suck it. We'll suck every drop of oil out of that ground. Even the banana trees will pop in the ground. There'll be nothing left. Okay? Only thing you're going to have left is the coal below the oil. A little bit of natural gas. We might suck all the natural gas out of Venezuela too. Y'all going to be out there with you're going to be living by candlelight for the next 200 years. Y'all keep fucking around. Y'all better get rid of that president. I'm serious. All right, moving on from there. Who is the leader of the band that is made for you and me and Trump? I don't know. Speaking of that, y'all see that video that the White House posted on their feed. I think it was like Nicki Minaj. It was pretty good. I don't know if you'll see that. If you guys get a chance, go see that. He had a President Trump approved short video of a rapper, I think, on the White House website. I thought it was pretty neat. So you see, he's trying. He's not just trying to be a middle-aged white dude, or an older white dude. They're modernizing a lot of the White House websites. I quite enjoy he was willing to be a little risky and put some things on the White House website like that. Joseph, yep, that's the proof of a flat Earth. Oh shit, we're not really talking about flat Earth syndrome again, are we? Because if we got a flat Earth, that means the sun's flat too. So, Matthew, yeah, not before the U.S. government intervened and overthrew the government. I didn't know the U.S. government ever overthrew anybody. That's let me tell you something. It's a hobby for the U.S. It's what we do. We would be bored to tears if we were not overthrowing governments, killing innocent people, killing terrorists. We would have nothing to do. But I think what's hard for people to swallow is our military doesn't get involved in murder. We're just bold enough to do what most countries don't, and that's called react. Okay? We don't sit behind our own country line and watch another dictator sit there and talk shit to our face. Okay? Our military and our veterans go over there and will shake your ass down. Okay? So we don't just sit on the national news and run our mouth. How many times you seen Russia involved in some shit? Very few. Same thing with China. Okay? There are some countries, when you talk shit to it, you're going to get a reaction, and this is one of them. It isn't like we have not had that discussion with Venezuela. Ask, plead, borrow, steal everything with these people. And when I mean by people, I don't mean the Venezuelan people. I mean their government president. And his reaction was that, well, we're going to get out our banana boats. We're going to round up the last few people that still have a little skin on their ribs, and we're going to put them out there to die needlessly. There's people going to defect. I know that. First time they see a U.S. bomb electrify the side of a hill, okay, and completely turn shit into dust, that military is going to evaporate. You ain't never seen a bunch of Venezuelans run through a jungle as fast as you're going to see these fuckers run. When they see one of those high-tech bombs come down, about blow the color off your hair, okay, light up the sky like an electric storm, yeah. That'll be the end of the military. You'll find guns all over the highway. These people be running for dear life. And so behind the biggest aircraft carrier, probably be the biggest oil rig. We got to move in and get some oil. I told you, you ask for a war, you got to pay for it. So we'll leave after we drain all the oil out of Venezuela. That's what everybody's implying. We're there for oil. So we'll suck up all the oil and gas. We'll give you a fair price. 1 copper U.S. penny inflated per barrel. We'll sell it back to you. I don't think the U.S. interest is in oil because, honestly, we've been letting Exxon and Chevron rip us off and every other nation for a long time. We don't need to go steal some oil in Venezuela. We let fucking corporations do it to us. Why do we need to worry about getting oil there? We got all the oil we need. We let lobbyists go and pay and cut checks to buy our politicians so we can have Chevron and Exxon suck every drop of oil out of every country in the world. Suck the Gulf dry, suck the Antarctic dry. So why the hell would we worry about one little mud puddle in Venezuela? You guys don't think shit through sometimes. Okay? Nobody gives a damn about Venezuela at all. Yeah, they got some, but look, there's plenty everywhere else. We probably haven't even used up the oil we probably took in Saudi Arabia. California got EBT today. Oh, that's good, man. That means there's going to be, don't spend all your money on a turkey, man. Go get a ham. And we got turkey inflation this year. Ned, a guy that was working in California, showed my cousin his benefits on EBT card about a year ago. Over $5K in stamps. Sound like he needs 3 hots in a cotton federal prison. Why the hell would he have $5K in food stamps? How many children that man got? Okay. He was a migrant. See, you gonna make me turn into Darth Vader in this video. One thing I can't stand worse than anything is when we got fucking freeloaders from another part of the planet show up here and then use food stamp cards and benefits. I cannot stand that. Okay. Just, we have veterans that are living on the corner today. Denny's will let them in the building long enough to have a hot meal today for free and then invite them right back to the corner. And one thing I can't stand more than that is the fact that we've got veterans, we got people coming in this country stealing from us. They think we're a hot soup kitchen in the U.S. I can tell you something, President Trump's already put a big stopper on that deal. And we may reach a point, and look, that was all 1 year. We got 3 more to go. Next year's going to be a fire one for 2026. Okay? If you wasn't born in this country next year, you got a real good chance that you're going to be packing your shit, okay? Whether you're legally here or not. No, there's not going to be no vacation and cruising in this country. The border is closed. I'm telling you. It's closed to drugs. It's going to be closed to drugs and immigrants, okay? We got too much of that. The U.S. is focusing on itself right now. That's whenever we can wake up our politicians and get them to do a fucking roll call and open up the government, right? Well, guys, I've enjoyed talking with y'all, and take it how you will. I just, since it was Veterans Day, I wanted to hop on here and shoot the breeze with you guys, talk about Venezuela. No hard feelings if you're Venezuelan. I haven't done anything against you, unless you're here illegally, that I got lots against you. Clearly, I don't wish that any citizen of Venezuela to be harmed. However, if you pick up a gun or you want to wear a military uniform out there in Venezuela, well, you accept responsibility of that when that strike group surrounding your country right now is fixing to make a decision. And we're not there to kill fishermen, okay? So my advice to you and your family, if you're here in this country and you're Venezuelan, to call your family and tell them to get with the other civilians, because this shit will happen fast. It'll happen furiously. And I can tell you, anything connected to your military will probably be melted. Okay? Everything from your tanks, your warships, there won't be any military left. And at the end of the day, you're going to probably holding an election for a new president by the end of the week, depending on what the president decides to do. And if you don't understand that that's happening, the U.S. does not send a U.S. strike group with some of the largest boats we have, and it doesn't put the CIA, install the CIA in your country and then tell you, unless it intends on doing very serious actions. Though I don't believe the U.S. is there for an all-out war, I think that it wants Mr. President Maduro. Well, they want him dead. Okay, so that's going to happen no matter what. I wouldn't want to be that man today because there's no way out of it for him. There's no absolute way. Okay, you can't leave your own country. It's only a matter of time, and you literally have a death certificate on your back. Nobody wants you alive. They're not going to let you live. And so you're walking around and you have a certainty of death. That's got to be the most horrifying thing. It'd be a lot like dying from cancer. You know that you're going to die. But in this case, you don't know. It could be any many ways. It could kill you. You could be assassinated on a toilet. I mean, but the thing about it is you need to write your will tonight. Mr. Maduro, President Maduro, and call your family, settle matters, because the U.S. is not going to accept anything else other than your death. Okay. And so while that's a hard thing to swallow, to watch as a human, you have to go. But that's the decisions that the politics have made, not the American people, but our politicians and the president. And that's how it goes down. And if you are complicit as military or any form of support to that military in Venezuela, you will be subject to the full force of the United States military in whatever form that they decide, whether it's strike bombs from, 30, 40,000 feet in the air, or whatever. It's not worth your life, man. Okay? Because I don't believe the U.S. is surrounding Venezuela to have a war with that country. I think that it just wants the drug issue to be resolved. Or maybe, President Maduro, you come out of hiding and strike a deal with the U.S. And I mean, don't fuck it up. Call the CIA, call your contacts. They might be willing, but you better show extraordinary effort. But instead of doing that, President Maduro, what you're doing right now is you're ramping up your military. So you've sent a very clear message. Please kill me. Okay? When you rally the army like that, there's blood in the water for the U.S. We see blood in the water, we taste it, and after that, it's just like a shark. It ain't going to be satisfied till it tastes blood. It wants you. And anybody that wants to connect to you, support your game. And even if you aren't connected to it, President Maduro, you're going to end up getting your entire family and everybody connected to you assassinated. Okay, I feel bad for the maid. Because nobody's going to sit there and check IDs when they start killing. Sad situation. I don't want to, it's such a sad situation for the holidays, but it is, people are done talking. You cannot continue to poison America. If American people are sitting at the turkey table and at the Christmas dinner table, and they've got to sit there and go in remembrance of their children because they died from drugs flowing through boats in countries like Venezuela, then there will be the same level of blood loss when they take your life out there in Venezuela, President Maduro. So best thing you can do, my friend, is just end it early, and then the ships will go home, and then we'll figure it out from there. But if you fight, you'll end up like the rest of these countries, bankrupt, leveled in about 400 years behind the times. And frankly, I'm not in this. I don't want to see us spend any more money on wars. I'd rather see bombs go. I don't want to see any veterans die. Not over this. Well, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. I'm going to get out of here. Been carrying on too long anyways. See y'all tomorrow.